Welcome, everyone, and thank you again for inviting me to this wonderful meeting. And today I'm going to talk to you about the department I am the head of, which is the Indo-Pacific Department at the Yale University Art Gallery. And my talk is entitled Teaching, Research, and Sharing. Founded in 1832, the Yale University Art Gallery is the oldest university art museum in North America. The museum is an integral part of Yale, and it is a center therefore for teaching, learning, and scholarship. It's a preeminent cultural asset to the university, the wider academic community, and very much for the general public. The museum collects, preserves, studies, and presents art in all media from all regions of the globe and across time, with a collection numbering nearly 300,000 objects. In 2009, the Art Gallery's newest department of Indo-Pacific art was founded with the support of Yale alumnus Thomas Jaffe, who endowed the department and its curatorial staff. And I'm going to introduce you now to the gallery. I was appointed as first curator that year and started my position at Yale in January 2010. I had spent the previous 20 years working as curator and researcher at the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford. The Indo-Pacific Department focuses on the arts of maritime Southeast Asia. The expansive name Indo-Pacific implies the region's connections both east and west, with links to the Pacific Islands and to the Indian Ocean. The majority of cultures represented speak a version of Austronesian, making them part of the world's most widespread language family that includes Madagascar on the west, just off the east coast of Africa, and Hawaii and Easter Island in the east of the Pacific. They are united by similar concerns in their understanding of the world, expressed in regards for their ancestors, their communities' recordings of history, and a strong emphasis on life cycle ceremonies. These indigenous views have deep roots in the region and are prominent even in local cultures that have accommodated influences from and conversions to Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, and most recently, Christianity. The department's chronological scope begins with the move of Austronesian cultures from South China and Taiwan into maritime Southeast Asia around 3000 BCE. Widely shared technologies in boat building, metalwork, weaving, and architecture, as well as iconographic preferences, are impressive evidence of this shared ancestry. Early relevant artistic traditions include very magnificent indigenous bronze-producing cultures in mainland and island Southeast Asia. The department displays a small collection of bronze objects on loan from Thomas Jaffe, and a magnificent recent donation from Robert Holmgren and Anita Spatus of a uniquely important Janus-faced bronze finial disc is now also on display. Previously on loan to the Metropolitan Museum in New York, this gift is a significant addition to the department's holding of Southeast Asia's early history. It was probably made in Java, but was discovered on Timor in eastern Indonesia, where it probably moved as part of a trade of trade negotiations. Both court and village traditions are relevant to our collections. Our audience may be familiar with the courts of Java and Bali, especially also its performing arts, but aristocratic elites also developed in other maritime cultures. They appreciate the region's artistic vitality. uh, to appreciate the region's artistic vitality, one also needs a good understanding of its village-based cultures. Only by understanding the relationship between court and village can we begin to appreciate the social and cultural complexities of Indo-Pacific societies, be it in Sumatra, Java, or the islands of eastern Indonesia. At the time of its founding in 2009, the department's collections held approximately 1,600 objects, either presented to the gallery as promised gifts or already donated. There were three distinct groups of objects. There was Javanese gold, primarily from the 8th to the 13th century, Indonesian textiles dating from the 15th to the early 20th century, and ethnographic objects, mainly sculpture from Indonesia, the Philippines, and Taiwan, dating from the 18th to the early 20th century. Let me first introduce the Javanese gold collection. In 2007 and 2008, the collectors Hunter and Valerie Thompson donated their substantial collection of Javanese gold to the gallery in anticipation of the department's founding. With approximately 500 objects, the collection is one of the largest in any public museum. It holds personal jewelry, ritual objects used in ceremonial contexts, small religious sculptures, funerary objects, and items of high prestige that were associated with court culture. A comprehensive catalogue of the collection written by the renowned scholar John Mikczyk was published in 2012. With further scientific research carried out on the collection, it really is one of the best researched ones of its kind. To complement the collection, we have added gold ornaments and ritual objects to the collection, which were used more recently, specifically from village societies of eastern Indonesia. Our textile collection has at its core about 400 pieces which were collected in Indonesia by Robert Holmgren, also to many better known as Jeff Holmgren, and Anita Spertus from the 1970s onwards. Their collection already was famous for its superb quality and depth, and it's only rivaled by the Indonesian textile collection at the National Gallery of Australia, to which they incidentally also contributed greatly. The in-depth focus of our collection is on South Sumatra, Sulawesi, and Borneo, but other islands are also represented. I'm showing you here one of our earliest pieces, a 16th century woman's skirt from northern Sulawesi, which its date has been determined by radiocarbon dating. With the support of the benefactors, of the department's benefactor, Tom Jaffe, we have been able to add substantially to our textile collection over the last 9 years. It now numbers over 1,100 items. The most outstanding group to be acquired were the textiles that Jeff Holmgren and Anita Spertus still had in their collection. They decided to part with these in 2016. We now hold the most comprehensive collection of Indonesian textiles in the Western Hemisphere. These were complemented in 2018 by a donation of over 50 textiles from mainland Southeast Asia, primarily from ethnic minority communities in Thailand and Burma. Now, most of our three-dimensional sculptures were once part of village cultures. From the beginning, the department had significant collections from North Sumatra, from the Batak region in particular, from Borneo, the Toraja of Sulawesi, the Southern Malaccas, Flores, Timor, and the Philippines. Also remarkable are objects from the Aboriginal cultures of Taiwan, who are culturally part of the Austronesian world. New areas now represented are mostly from eastern Indonesia, the Raja Ampat Islands and Cendrawasih Bay, which is the Bird's Head Peninsula of Western New Guinea, all of which were displayed in our 2014-2015 exhibition, East of the Wallace Line, Monumental Art from Eastern Indonesia. Now, in my first acquisition policy statement, written in 2011, I included the following paragraph, and I quote myself. Shadow puppet performances of the Ramayana and Mahabharata stories are an integral part of Javanese and Balinese culture. A complete set of puppets of wayang kulit would be an asset to the department and would complement the gamelan orchestra performances of Yale School of Music. My wish more than came true when the department received the donation of a remarkable collection of Indonesian puppets from Java, Bali, and Lombok. The collector, Walter Ernst, brought together over 120 complete sets plus 20 incomplete sets, as well as much of the paraphernalia related to the performances. Extensive documentation and the collector's library were also part of the gift. It came to the Yale University Art Gallery in its entirety, thanks to the generosity of Walter's brother, Sir Henry Angus. We are eager to share it with other institutions for performance and teaching purposes, and we welcome performers and researchers to visit us and make use of it. It is the largest collection of Indonesian puppets in any public or private collection. This single donation has made Yale a primary focus for Southeast Asian performance arts. And I'm showing you here a set of wayang golek figures. And we had in 2018, we had the Javanese researcher, academic, scholar, and performer visit Yale. He was a fellow at the Institute for Sacred Music here at the university, and at the end of his fellowship, he did a performance for us at a place called the West Campus, where we have a large, really quite very impressive collection study center that can be visited, where we make comparative, where we can have comparative studies of our collections. And I'm showing you two images of the actual performance. During my years as curator, the collection has grown substantially from approximately 1,600 items in 2010 to close to 20,000 objects, thanks to the donation of the wayang. The exact number is still in flux as the recording and accessioning of the collection of puppets proceeds. In which direction would I like to see the collection develop? Now, Indonesia has a rich and historically deep narrative tradition linked to Islamic tales and the Indian Mahabharata and Ramayana stories. Local histories and tales of culture heroes are also very important. These have been recorded in lively depictions, both in manuscript and scroll forms, as well as in paintings on cloth. In recent years, we have acquired one superb painted scroll from Bali and two early 19th century Javanese manuscripts, but we should look out for further examples of the narrative genre. I especially want to expand our display representing Islam in Indonesia, an important area that is currently not sufficiently emphasized. To some degree, this is corrected with our Wayang collection, but we should also display more Islamic manuscripts and dress items. As a university museum, we are closely involved with teaching our undergraduate and graduate students, and we give them opportunities to participate in our curating activities and in the interpretation of our collections. Training the next generation of museum professionals is essential to us, but we also try to inspire an admiration for human creativity in students from all disciplines. Thank you very much.